This next guest is the reason I fled the state of New York. It's Governor Andrew Cuomo.
Oh,
Governor
that
Cuomo,
was nice of you, Shane.
can you hear us, Governor?
First of all, I want to thank you for that lovely compliment, and really, truly thank you for the inverted invite.
Oh, don't mistake this smile for friendship, Governor. 'Cause, I'm grateful. I'm grateful you're here. I did watch your recent mayoral campaign announcement. People out there listening, this guy, the governor, released a 20-minute video saying why he's going to run for mayor, and he listed that New York is strong. New York has survived all these hurricanes, floods. You left out one thing. You didn't say yourself, which we barely survived, Governor. So with that in mind, what makes you think that you can run for mayor for New York City?
Well, why run, you're asking? I have to get back to work. This city needs me. And I've had enough time to myself. Riverboat cruises, how many more can I do?
How many people can you attack on a boat?
Oh, you'd be surprised. There's endless ocean.
Endless victims. If for some reason that city votes for you, which is possible considering you had someone like Bill de Blasio, who used to live a few blocks down from me, what would be the first thing you do in office?
Well, as I had said in my campaign address, the migrant population has to be taken care of first and foremost. And there's plenty of room for the migrants, and that is in the homes of wealthy white suburban housewives of
good.
Connecticut and East Hampton, New York.
I get behind that, yeah.
They have plenty of space, and these Deborahs could use a Hector or two. Left-leaning, right-leaning, we're making our way into your home with or without your permission. If you elect me mayor, I can promise you that.
So it's like a broader Me Too, not just for one specific type of victim. It's for the whole state, which seems a lot like your the way you governed that state, sir. Respectfully. So in your announcement, you did mention these shining moments in New York. Do you have some examples of what that even means? Because I left, I don't miss it all that much, and you are a big reason for that. So what are those shining moments?
Oh, the shining moments are the exact same as the reason why we have to clean it. Kind of goes both ways. I forgot to mention migrants, and the other complaint brought to my attention, the homeless. The homeless population must be dealt with. They're being mistreated, and they're dying at a rapid and horrible rate, being lit on fire, pushed in front of trains. These New Yorkers have no compassion. If I'm elected mayor, we will do with the homeless what rightfully should be done. We'll euthanize them.
So you sound like Trudeau. You're basically going to be Trudeau for New York City.
Oh, even worse. And I'd like to make a distinction. The homeless are different than the 20-somethings that are living in the street. Those who have wealthy white Republican parents who they refuse to live with will not sleep on the street no longer. If they choose our city for their slumber, I will put these bubble tea drinking nomads to sleep permanently.
Wow.
And it will be a better city for
it. Better city. Do you have any regrets with what you did to that state?
I should have worn different suits.
Oh, man.
The children use the expression drip or on fleek.
Yeah.
Blue, black, blue. I was stagnant, and I let the people down.
Yeah, no, that's definitely on the bottom of my list of things you did. Who in your mind, who was a better mayor? Did you like Eric Adams or de Blasio more?
I hate to give either one of them credit, but the one aspect I'll give the current mayor Adams, he'll start the day a normal time. Bill de Blasio wouldn't get up before 2 p.m. Bill, lay off the weed. You're mayor. It never sat well with me.
How do you eat your pizza? Do you do a fork and knife or do you hold it?
I don't take it orally, Shane.
That's not what I heard. They Me Too'd you instead of getting up for a genocidal maniac. Anthony Weiner or Hillary Clinton, are they going to endorse you?
Say that one more time.
Anthony Weiner and Hillary Clinton. I feel like they will probably endorse you soon.
It might be coming. Either way, I'll accept their endorsement, just as long as they stay away from my desktop computer or my laptop. Don't want them anywhere near them.
No, yeah, definitely don't. I shouldn't even have transitioned from a pizza conversation into Hillary Clinton, but it makes sense in retrospect. So we recently heard that your buddy Gavin Newsom he's launching a podcast because I think he's going to run for president for 2028. Can we expect a podcast from Mayor Cuomo?
My daughters have put 10,000 hours of my press briefings during COVID into that DeepSeek app. Currently, I'm teaching a pottery course somewhere on Spotify. So we're working on it.
That sounds horrifying. That's like if Mussolini did florals.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm reading comments below your announcement video. It has an overwhelming response. I'm just going to read a few for you. This has to be a joke. You, Governor, took many to the grave. The return of the Grandma Slayer. I like that one a lot. The city is doomed when he becomes mayor. Look, that's a positive one because they didn't say if. They said when, which is terrifying. How would you respond to those people?
I wouldn't.
That's how a politician gets elected. That's exactly how a politician gets elected these days. Well, Governor, I know you're busy. I appreciate you joining us. I'm happy that it's from a distance. It's on Zoom, which is exactly what you made me do as a professor when I was teaching classes. You made me run home and use Zoom, which I don't like. But I'm glad we're here. I'm safe from you.
No one likes the Zoom. That part was an act. I'll admit.
I bet. So if you don't mind, I think you have someone else there by the name of Joe who might want to join us real quick.
Thank you for having me, Shane.
Yep. Bye.
6 feet.
I'm going to start a Cuomo campaign. No, I'm not. I was going to say to help destroy the city, but I love New York, and I really hope that guy doesn't get elected because he'll be right back.
Oh, what a campaign! Here we go.
I think so. I think I broke my microphone stand as well. It's my rage for. So we have Joe Naimoli. Did I say it right?
That's absolutely, Shane.
So
you got it.
You and I.
On the head.
You and I found you in 2020. Was it?
Found him? Where'd you find him? On the street?
Yeah, on the streets. Just being Cuomo. No, it was on Instagram, I think, and we were dying. My family was dying. You were doing Thanksgiving, like Cuomo coming for Thanksgiving. And it was making the rounds back then. I was like, this is so funny. We needed it because not everyone was making fun of Cuomo. What made you start doing Cuomo? Because not a lot of people were, huh?
Yeah, that's the one of the ones that everybody always mentions. That video I watched in real time go viral as I refreshed Facebook of all places.
Oh wow!
And I would hit refresh, and you would see 100, 200, 3, and I was like, oh my goodness. The guy monopolized the morning airwaves, right, during the one of the worst times of our life, right? What quote unquote. And I said, nobody does him. And, I'm a stand-up comedian 13, 14 years. It's the irony of that being the thing that popped off, I've had small successes, but I said, nobody does this guy. And I have a bit of a nasally voice, and we're both Italian, so I get it. So, I'm on the wavelength, but it's his inflection and his pauses and everything. There's a lot to it. I said, I got to try and take a stab at it. And I said, I started watching his briefings religiously. And oh my God, I feel
they
like
were
he owes me
nightmares
money because of all the amount of time I spent watching it. And I would tailor my own mini briefing to his every day. and I would usually the outlet would be food because I love to cook. So that related to the Thanksgiving one. But so many people had reached out to me, especially now, and even the years after, saying that uh, I helped them get through the pandemic.
Yeah.
And that it sounds corny, but that meant so much to me.
Yeah.
This is years later.
Yeah.
Because it was such a traumatic time, and so many people said that helped them, and I was like, that really meant a lot. So now I don't want to be bothered with this. I have a little one running around. I still perform, not as much. I can't tell you how many my phone didn't stop when he announced that he was running. So I said I have to do this.
I was so sad for New York, but so happy for you. But also, it's like a double-edged sword because I'm like,
said that.
yeah, he's like, oh, he's got to do this guy again. What are the odds you think Cuomo saw them?
He Googles himself. He saw him.
I'm sure he saw him.
He definitely did, because there's people that added his daughters, and I added the daughters too. And for a while, I was playing it I was treating him with kid gloves.
Yeah, you
for
were.
the entire thing.
Yeah,
honestly,
they were funny though.
I stayed away from the sexual allegations.
Yeah.
I literally parodied him as if it was like SNL in the '70s, where if I met him, he would be, grateful.
Right.
And I feel like I shouldn't have. I feel like I almost went too much, but so much so that New York One actually wanted to get me on the dais. So they saw me on Twitter and they were like, "Yo, do you really
oh my goodness,
you really do this?" And I said, "Yeah." And I think they would have eventually. Like they tried to. He definitely saw me. Definitely saw me. His brother I know saw me.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Another Cuomo who likes to Google himself. How can we convince you to run for mayor as Cuomo? Like, is that a law that we'll break? Like, I want to head that campaign. You as Cuomo becoming mayor of the city. I'm into that.
That's kind of like what Zelensky, I think, was doing, right? That he was an actor portraying someone else leading a country. I mean, that's leading a country.
Right. Yeah. If Ben Stiller can do it.
I'm in a suit much more than he is. I got that already. I got that beat over him, right?
You used a phrase I thought was hilarious. You and I were talking earlier. You said it was his greasy charm. How did that wear on you? Was it a good thing? Was it a bad thing? Was it a nightmare?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, the irony of me relating, because I'm an actor and a stand-up, and for 14, 15 years now, and I do impress. Somebody said, Joe, and I like to think of myself this way too, kind of like Eddie Murphy, where he does impressions, but he's not an impressionist, right? Mm-hmm. And there's so many people. You can throw a rock and hit a guy that does impressions on TikTok. It's almost nauseating. So I didn't really want to do them, but for some reason we were watching him. He has this greasy charm, and I can say it because I'm from the same spaghetti bending ethnicity. He does have this. There's something about him that he is likable and he is charming. Look, he was the attorney general. All lawyers have this, right? They're the snake oil salesman. Mm-hmm. They're able to have the gift of gab. It goes beyond that. But there's something about him that, and it's perverse because I'm drawn to it, and we know all of the atrocities that this guy's committed. Yeah. And everybody, I feel like, even his biggest critics, they want to like the guy. He's got something, you want to like him. You know what? And in that first month of the pandemic, we did go, you know what? Because de Blasio was the other, banana hammock that we had leading the city. He didn't know. He was chasing himself his tail.
That was crazy.
So for that first 3 weeks, everyone did look to Cuomo. And then slowly he drifted off into madness with his 8-hour press conferences.
Just remember, because you're still in New York, I believe. Alex and I have fled that state. That if you do find yourself feeling any type of warmth towards him, there is something called Stockholm syndrome, and you might have it. I mean, for those who forgot though, de Blasio and his wife danced in Times Square on New Year's Eve when they shut down the city. Right, as Sinatra was playing. It's one of the most dystopian videos of that insane psychopath mayor slow dancing with his wife at Times Square. So you're there. How do people that you're hearing, are they like excited about this, or are they like, what is he doing? How do they feel about Cuomo running?
So this is he dropped the video yesterday, a beautiful Saturday afternoon, right?
Yeah.
And there's a reason why he does this. It's an afterthought on Monday. It's not the first thing. So it's big news, but it's not smack in the face. Everything's meticulously thought out, especially when you're running. You study these people.
Oh yeah.
But everyone talking beforehand, it's so funny. Everyone's like, oh, he's going to run, but they know I'm going to put this out there. I think he's going to win.
Oh man.
I think and it's the people of New York. The only other people that would be gullible enough to vote for him are the people of California.
Yeah.
New York will vote for him. And there's the tail of the tape. And the other his competition is who? Curtis Sliwa?
Yeah. How do you feel about Curtis? I mean, he's kind of like
I love Curtis.
I just
on
met
my
him
morning
recently,
commute.
actually.
I love Curtis on the radio.
Yep.
And Curtis has an intimate knowledge of the city, his work with the Guardian Angels. No, he's not squeaky clean, but who is?
Right.
My biggest critique with Curtis Sliwa is if he goes on the debate stage like he did with Adams, just don't talk like a disc jockey for that hour. If he gets up there and he starts shouting out bumper sticker slogans, that's it. He's toast.
Right.
He has to appeal to all of New York, not just his radio audience.
Right.
He has an intimate knowledge. He knows of all of his blunders. If he can just pretend to be political, like it worked for Trump, it's not going to work for everyone. Yeah. And Sliwa should know. I hope he knows it. I wish I could talk to him. Yeah. Like, this is what you got to do. Just pretend, and I think he'd be good.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to help him run his campaign.
Yeah, you as Cuomo can help run Sliwa's campaign. I'm going to figure out a way to do this. I'm going to push you into this somehow. Real quick, before the next question, for those who are tuning in now, because I tweeted out that Governor Cuomo's on the show, just rewind a little bit, and you will see Governor Cuomo. And he had to leave because he's obviously a very, very busy man. But with Cuomo, it's like he's one of the most psychotic people ever. Like when he was kicked out for Me Too, which is hilarious to me, instead of all the other things with the nursing homes, I saw as, he was clearly super mad because his own party turned their back on him. And then they put up Hochul, who turned out to be even crazier because soon after her taking over, you weren't there, but you and I were there, Joe. She was saying everyone should go out and be disciples for the vaccine. It was very dark tone. So, like, I wonder how they're going to work together.
Vaccine pendant.
Right. It was weird. Do you think Cuomo and Hochul can even work together?
Oh, he will, because he is a politician, and she is just. She's a demon. I think the woman's a demon.
Yeah, I do too.
But Cuomo, the reason why he was out, I believe, he, much like Trump, someone who he doesn't really like, he has an ego. And his ego, he doesn't want to fail, even though he has totally different policies. Yeah. That's the reason I think they got him out. The Me Too allegations were a kid glove way to get him out. Hitting him with the nursing home thing would have really made sure he never came back. Those allegations, one of those allegations was the person that he that took his lab coat when I think he was getting the jet, when they were talking about the vaccines live on one of his press conferences. Yeah. That was one of the accusations. So it was like 12 or 13. A lot of them were flubbed, not flubbed, but they made more of them than they actually were. Oh, yeah. And, you believe all women, but you can clearly, all of a sudden, there's hit jobs. Uh-huh. You could see, so that was an easy way to get him out. And I think he flipped, because he'll do what he wants, and he won't, I don't think he'll be controlled. And once they saw that he was, because I don't think he was ironically, I don't think he was for the mass vaccination. Yeah. I don't think he was. And I think that's why they were like, you know what? He's got to go.
Well, he was more of a centrist, going in.
He is.
Even though he considers his father to be a true progressive, but even those progressives from back then aren't progressives like we see today. There's a different.
I'm that progressive today.
Right. It's a totally different type of politics.
Totally.
But it is also New York. So I could see him coming back and trying to do the centrist thing. And people have short-term memories, unfortunately. So it could work, like you're saying. I do see it happening. Eric Adams also tried to play the centrist game as a former NYPD, but they got him. They got that guy, And now they're going to get the other guy that they got. But man, New York has such it's like almost Chicago. Remember when we had a blind governor after we had the other, who was Spitzer, who was kicked out for the prostitutes, and then the blind governor was corrupt. We had Anthony Weiner as a congressman. Like, what is up with our home state? It's such a mess.
The Anthony Weiner is that's the I mean, the most ironic story ever is him getting caught and having that last name. I don't know how it's not brought up on the daily, even at the supermarket.
I know.
Like, you remember Wiener? Like, how funny is that? I was just thinking that the other day, laughing to myself.
It's crazy.
The funniest thing. The sad part is Cuomo is the shining example. You take all those guys, line them up. 9 out of 10 people, regardless of how they vote, they're going to select Cuomo over everybody else. We got some track record. It's a shame.
But he is like the consummate politician, the New York politician, you know, even though we experienced complete tyranny and, you know, they weaponized everything against everyone in that state, turned neighbors against each other. And, you know, even though he was trying to play it off as like he's this charming guy, in my mind, he's just as bad as a Whitmer, you know, like a crazy governor. Who should be nowhere in politics, but those are the people who run, so we're stuck with them. Right,
it's true, and we did go through people like to block it out, as they do with a lot of dramatic things, but we did go through a lot, and it builds on people. Even though we block it out, it's still like I know it still affects me mentally, and it affects a lot of, like I said, we push it to the side, but it's still there. And we went through a lot in this city. I mean, the whole country did, but New York especially.
Yeah.
And, you know, people do forget, but some people don't.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen. If I were to bet, and I don't bet often, I would bet that he wins unless something unforeseen comes out. Some wild card that I can't.
If he wins. No, you know what? Even before that, you should be doing, like, SNL should do a good thing for once and like have someone like you do Cuomo, or whatever, you know, you do it on YouTube, but you're stuck with Cuomo for the next, you know, few years.
Him winning could be a good thing.
Yeah.
So that's the only positive of this. And like I said, I didn't want to be just like that one trick pony, but at this stage, I don't care. You know, the last thing I said I wanted to do was now start editing again, but people like it too much, and it's endless material. And I write every day. It's just now it's like it's an out to actually put it to screen.
Yeah.
So why the hell not?
Amazing.
It's a terrible yet wonderful thing.
I mean, well, both the two things you just said could be Cuomo slogans. Why the hell not? And it's a wonderful, terrible thing. Those are two great Cuomo. If you're listening, these are free. You know, but Joe's right there in New York. You know, hit him up. Well, Joe, we're gonna let you go, man. Thank you so much for coming in. Please thank the governor again for stopping by.
Forget about it.
Yeah, and we'll talk soon, dude.